Welcome everybody. Welcome to another episode of Ascension Talk with Ariella. And I have the delight of being able to share the presence of a special guest with you today, because as you may have noticed, it has been Ariella the past few weeks. And I'm getting a bit bored of that and a bit sick of it just being me. So I'm absolutely delighted to introduce you to my special guest today, who I am really looking forward to getting to know more. So it's Zoe Davenport. Some of you will already know Zoe. You can see her on the screen. And Zoe and we're both Brit girls. We're international, of course. We probably consider ourselves to be global travelers, and Zoe's more global. She's a real traveler. So I'll let her share where she is. She's certainly somewhere where it's much more sunny than I am at the moment, which I'm envious about. But our paths have been sort of crossing, haven't they, Zoe? And connections have been happening. So we have some mutual friends, one of which I have interviewed already in Ascension Talk with Ariella and interviewed before. So Steve Nobel, who is a friend of our both. And I'm just really looking forward. I've heard great things about Zoe. And from what I've seen on her social media and online presence, I love what she's doing in the world. So I'm really looking forward to getting to know you better, Zoe, today, and also to sharing your beautiful energy and your mission with Ascension Talk with Ariella listeners. So welcome to the show.
Thank you, gorgeous. And what a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me. And yes, I am somewhere sunny. I'm currently in Costa Rica. So yes.
Very cool. I didn't quite get there. I went through Central America on my travels. So after I went through my bigger multidimensional awakening, I went through Guatemala, and I had intended to make it to Costa Rica, but never got there. So yeah, you're making me envious right now.
We have to come out.
You have an amazing festival there, don't you?
Yeah, we do. There's a conscious festival here called Envision, which happens around February. I actually went for the first time this year. I've wanted to go for about 5 years, and my guides kept saying, it's not time, it's not time, it's not time. And then this year, everything lined up for me to come to Costa Rica earlier in the year, and Envision was part of it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to going again next year.
Very cool. Yes, I may well see you there one day. And you've recently been in my neck of the woods. So you've recently been in Glastonbury. We meant to meet, but it didn't quite align on this occasion in the physical, but I'm sure it will do in the future. I guess where I'd love to start is for you to give the audience a bit of an introduction into you, your journey, your awakening, how you've come to be this incredible multidimensional channel today. And I know you do a lot of events internationally. Like, introduce us to you, to your work, so that we really understand the light that you are in the world.
Thank you. I guess to summarize the awakening part of it was probably around 2009, I started to receive the activation codes. And then by 2010 was when they started to kind of really come into an awareness for me. And so I'd say kind of that year leading up to 2011 was when I was receiving all the activations. Obviously at the time I didn't know what they were, number sequences and synchronistic patternings and big life shifts happening. And then it kind of all came into an awareness. And so from that, it was the switch that I guess my soul was waiting for me to pay attention to. And I went into quite a deep integrative journey of learning about metaphysics, quantum physics, spiritual awakening, ascension. There's a dragonfly outside the window at the moment. I love that.
Great timing.
I know, and a little butterfly. All the little animals and bugs today have just been giving me so many little messages. So I'd say really that was kind of when it began, but really it was just a remembrance, as we all have come to understand, of our childhood, and our souls haven't been, this isn't all that we have known as our souls. And so the last 10 years have been very specific with studying, learning, growing, shifting, clearing, cleansing. I started off with a massive career change from catering and hospitality into massage therapy, which my guides wanted me to study. Did that for a few years, and then that kind of evolved quite quickly into channeling sessions, psychic readings, and then that evolved into more of what I'm doing now, which is the DNA activation. So it's bringing through specific sound attunements, which is set to vibrate at the frequency of Christ consciousness, at the frequency of one unity. And obviously, when I was getting these downloads, I had to go through a few years of self-practice of that first before I was ready to teach that, before I was ready to share that with an audience in one-on-one. Recently, since the 11/11 transmission, a lot of what I have taught over the last few years has been about ascension, but I've always tried to tie it back in with the human experience. How does it relate to the human? How does that help the human on planet Earth right here, right now? A lot of it has tied into the foundational principles of awakening, which is self-love. And recently, since the 11/11 gateway, my guides have shared, my higher self has shared, okay, you're done with that. You're not to share about self-love anymore. That's not what you're about. You're not to teach that. What came through was I'm actually to share more of I am the embodiment of creative expression of the divine, and to teach how that relates to who we are as we are having our individual experiences. We are part of a greater hive. We're part of a greater consciousness that many through the awakening journey have kind of still forgotten. We still feel that we are separate to source. We still feel that we are cut off from that energy. And so what was coming through is I am now to really embody and teach about the galactic connection. Right. Who are you are at a galactic level, which is bringing into you your codes from your Palladian starseed heritage, from your Arcturian starseed heritage, from your Lyran starseed heritage, all of it. No one individual expression, but bringing people back into balance with that higher state of consciousness. It's still keeping it grounded and human, but Source has almost said, okay, look, you've done enough for humanity at that level, and they really need me to show all of who I am. Because Ariella, I'll be honest with you, I've probably only been sharing about 2% of the energy that comes through, because and this is, I'm going to hold my hand up to this. Like, I got a little bit swept away with trying to be this kind of, not trying to be an online presence, but trying to build strategy and planning and all of that. And that's not going to work for us. When we're the bridges and the bringers of the new frequency and creating heaven on earth, any way of sharing our message in the old paradigm, even if we class ourselves as a coach, is not going to work. It's not going to work. And you know what has happened this week is I feel such a sense of expansion, freedom, embodiment, surrendering, and the ability to really, 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 really share from that field, because my mind, the ego, is not trying to work it all out. It's not trying to do the how. And so what I've been witnessing this week is the energy that it's like I was a hose pipe, and my energy centers, there are a few little kinks in the hose, and they've all been unkinked. And now the energy is rushing through. It's like I'm having all of these memories come back to me. And even last night, my partner, I was remote viewing back to a scene when I was about 6 years old. And it was part that was still waiting to be released. And so I was experiencing these full body shock waves of energy through my body. It was like I was jolting like that. And once it had cleared, everything in my consciousness, I was like between sleep and awake state, but everything in my consciousness went quiet and dark. And all I could see was the awareness of my third eye and the individual pattern of what my third eye was showing me. It was such a unique expression. And so why I'm sharing this is, as we move into the 2020 timelines, many of us that thought we had to do a certain thing to get to where we feel we want to get to help humanity, we don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. As we embody the divine expression, as we understand that every single one of us has a completely different signature of energy that we're channeling through to bridge the gap between the old earth and new earth. New earth is already here as we embody it with our energy, as we embody it in our authenticity. It is just, there's an overwhelming amount of freedom, sense of connection, sense of purpose, sense of grace and ease. And so many of you guys that have been probably struggling with 2019, right? Many of you have probably been noticing fluctuations in your financial prosperity. Many of you have been wondering why you haven't got to there yet, or working out why has it been so challenging and difficult. It's because the trajectory that we've been currently on needed to take a massive shift to up level our consciousness ready for the 2020 energies, because collectively we've been waiting for this. It's like the awakening and opening of the 2011, 2012 gateway. That's when most people started to become conscious and aware again. And now another wave is going to hit the planet. So all of us that have already been here in this journey for the last 10 years are being asked to step up. We're being asked to step up by letting go of what's not working. But it's hard because the ego wants to hold on to what's not working. So how can we be in total surrender and joy and bliss while we sit outside in nature and connect back to oneness? There's another little dragonfly outside the window. They're all coming to say hi today.
Dimensional dragonfly. So I love what you're saying. I love what you're sharing. There's lots of questions, and I kind of do want to go a little bit deeper into some of the stuff, because you said such amazing like there's been some amazing concepts that you've already shared, like DNA activations, like the sound activations that you do, wanting to understand more about how that works and share that with the viewers. Also a bit more on ascension and your understanding of that. So wanting to go back into those areas, and the starseed codes as well. I love the up leveling of your mission and the galactic codes that are now wanting to come through. What I'm also interested in understanding, and perhaps you can share it with the viewers, with the more of the embodiment of the divine essence that you're talking about, and sharing that in the world as a way to help shift the consciousness in a practical way. How do you see this as being different to, say, you said that you've seen a difference from in the past, you've had like an awakening, and things are going to be different going forward. So like practically, how might that manifest?
So practically how that might manifest is you no longer see yourself as separate. And when you no longer see yourself as separate, you understand that there is no time, there is no waiting, there is no separation, there is no needing to work it all out. There is just pure, total bliss and surrender in the present moment. And it's going to be very hard because the ego wants to know when, the how, the why, the what, the who. The heart wants to connect with the essence and the message that a dragonfly will bring to us, or sitting on a log, or touching a tree, or feeling ourselves with the vibration of the star. And so on a practical level, there is no thinking on practical terms anymore. This is the practicalities of awakening is what holds us back in the first place, because we want logical, we want rational. We want A, B, C, D, step 1, 2, 3, 4. Multidimensionality, to experience ourselves in those higher states of consciousness, we have to let go of the fabric of time space. We have to let go of this linear understanding. That's when we experience instant shifts. That's when our spiritual gifts are heightened. Many people separate into two categories. They separate their spiritual self, their awakening, their gifts, into this category over here. And then they separate that with their human. And, you know, if I had £1 for every time someone said to me, oh, I just want to be in this energy and I don't want to deal with the mundane, I don't want to deal with the human stuff. It's both. We're integrating. We've done the human stuff a lot, right? We've done the human stuff in density. We haven't done the human stuff in the superhuman formation. We haven't done the human stuff where, does my body need to eat breakfast this morning? The old paradigm is, well, you know, you need to have your breakfast. New paradigm is, oh, actually, maybe wait to eat. Your body is saying no. Your body is saying wait. Your body is saying sleep. So you sleep. Your body is saying wake up at 2:30 in the morning. I was talking to my partner about this. This is something I'm learning. The practicality is the human rational mind to be, no, we need the 8 hours sleep a night. We need to sleep through the night. If we wake up in the night, that's bad. We need to go back to sleep, right? I'm forcing myself to sleep when my body, bing, wakes up, 3:33. That's the time to wake up and channel and journal and do the higher consciousness work. So there is no practicality in it anymore. And it's hard to concept. It's hard to grasp that because mind's like, yeah, but how does that work for my human? The point is we're integrating. It's waves of energy. We are energy. We are experiencing ourselves as a vibration. As we come into vibrational attunement with ourselves as source creator, with ourselves as creative expression of the divine, we can listen to the harmonics of the earth, of the rocks, of the blades of grass. We understand ourselves as complete totality, as complete connection to all. And so we understand ourselves as we have inspiration, desire to share our message with the world, to write a book, to create a coaching practice. Maybe it's to support children to become dancers. Whatever it is, the expression of the divine runs through us. We know that ability to receive ourselves as we are, which is divine creator, is then sending ripple effects out to the whole entire planet. We forget that the work that we are doing to self is having an effect of one and all. And so how does that work on a practical level? Well, let's think about some of the practical changes then that happens in the 3D world when we are experiencing ourselves as that. Well, money no longer becomes an issue. Our next step is always presented to us in the divine moment. The person we are meant to meet, the idea we are meant to have, the money that we need, everything pulls, we draw energy into us. I pulled money out of the bank account last week. I think it was like 100,000 colones, about £140, and I paid for some shopping, about £85. I had this moment of like, oh, there's money being taken away. And I thought, well, no, because this is beautiful. You've got some cash in your wallet. You've just got to Costa Rica. You've bought some beautiful food. Everything is always coming back to me tenfold. The next day, the exact money that I had spent outwards came back to me for an interview that I'd done a few months ago for some people had bought some more packages or something. And this is how it works. It's when we experience ourselves as this wave of divine creative energy, what our bank account looks like is, it doesn't matter. What we're meant to do 10 years from now, it doesn't matter. We are literally here.
I love what you're saying. And I'm understanding it more now, because we are here having this human experience, aren't we? And, you know, that's why we've chosen to come here. And I also hear lots of people saying it, and I've said it myself, it's just the human stuff, right? That's the challenge. But, you know, that's what we're here to experience. And that does involve practical, and I will use that term, things as humans. Like, you know, for those people who have got children who are watching this, you know, and you've got your beautiful, is it stepchildren that you look after, that you were just telling me about? You know, there's like practical things, right? Like, you know, getting them up in the morning, taking them to school and all of that stuff. So what you're not saying is that it's not about not being human, but it's about being in absolute alignment and being the embodiment of the oneness, having this incredible human experience. Would that be a way that you would put it?
It's all of it. Being human is one aspect of who we are.
Yeah.
Being multidimensional is one aspect of who we are. Being energy, our ability to connect with everything, person, and living organism around us is one aspect of who we are. Our ability to live in total harmonic alignment to the expression that runs through us as we remind ourselves that we are divine creator is one part of who we are. The matrix system, the created consciousness of how it has been put together is based on fear, it's based on lack, it's based on scarcity, it's based on you are not enough, it is based on judgment, it is based on envy, expectation, attachment, jealousy, hurt, pain, comparison. When we raise our vibration, the practical act of paying a bill, the practical act of getting your kids ready to school, the practical act of driving your car along the road, there is a heightened sense of awareness and pure presence that we have with the fact that we are suddenly, in the eyes of observer, witnessing ourselves create a consciousness in our individual expression. And that's when we bypass the ego and we bypass the fear-based programming that is designed to pull us into that swirling mix of energy. When we're in fear, we're not in our heart. When we are in scarcity, we are not in our heart. When we are in lack, we are not in our heart. When we're in judgment, we are not in our hearts. When we're in comparison, envy, jealousy, hurt, whatever it is, we are not in our hearts. When we have our hearts closed, energetically, when our hearts are closed, we cut ourselves off to who we are. We have to continuously remind ourselves on a daily basis through energetic practice to raise our frequency to come into alignment. And so I'll share something with you. I had a client session yesterday with a lady, and she was sharing she took on a job to just have some stability for a minute. So that was her conscious choice. She no longer wanted to do freelance. So she got a job doing, you know, the similar trade of what she does. She went into that job, but it wasn't really what she wanted to do. She took that job out of fear and scarcity. And so she had a cross belief. So practically, she wanted to give herself some stability. It felt good to have the regular money. Impractically, she then gave all of herself to that job, and she stopped doing all of the stuff that was raising her vibration. And so when I took her through a process, we came to the conclusion, especially when her guides had come through, was you made a conscious choice to have that job. And so I know that the mind is then, oh, this is toxic for me, this is no good, but this was your conscious choice. I said, how about we shift the perspective? Because that is all we are really ever doing. We could be in exactly the same job, exactly the same home, exactly the same relationship, exactly the same family. When we shift our perspective to the conscious choices that we have made, we understand that we are in complete control of everything. The old program will have us believe that we are not in control, and then it pulls us into that mix again, right? It's very clever. It's very, very clever. We're not trying to run away from it. We're not trying to run away from ourselves. We're not trying to run away from fear. We're integrating it into almost like treating who we were like children. Oh, it's okay. Come, I can look after you now. I love you.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. I forgive you. Don't worry. We're forgiving each other. We're forgiving all of it. We're forgiving ourselves as created density.
Mm-hmm.
And so the practicalities is, to bring it into conclusion with this lady, she set herself a goal of 6 months to really enjoy the choice that she made to take that job, that she was going to have that financial stability. Well, there's all these other hours in a day. The old program believes when you go to a job, that's all you can do. I said, well, what time are you waking up? What is your morning practice? There was none. I'm like, right, great. Wake up an hour earlier. Go to bed an hour later. Set yourself 3 hours in the evening where you're pouring energy into yourself, where a new idea or belief or what you are meant to do next will come through for you. She probably, and if she does that, she won't be in that job forever. She won't, 3 months tops. But it will be enough to give her some grounding to receive the information of what she is meant to do next. Most people on a practical level don't move forward because they're holding on to what didn't work for them.
Thank you, Zoe. Yeah, very interesting what you're sharing. And for the viewers, if you have any questions about this or any comments, or if you would like to go deeper in any of this, then please do put them in the comments because we can see them here. Or if you have any questions for Zoe generally about anything that she's sharing, then we'd love to hear your comments as well. Zoe, talk to us some more about the soundings that you do. So the DNA activation, the sound attunements. How did you first connect with those, and what sort of sounds are we talking about? I'd love to know more.
Sure. How did I first connect with the sound? So in my meditation practices, well, I'll tell you what happened at first. I was giving someone a massage in a spa. This was about 6 years ago. And literally the Palladians came and stood around the bed, clear as daylight.
Wow.
And said that you are to give this person an activation. I'm like in this spa setting massaging, and I'm talking to them telepathically saying, what do you mean? This guy's coming for a massage. Like, he doesn't know about the rest of it. And they're like, no, it's fine. Like, his higher self has asked for this. You are to bring this in. And they channeled a sound through me that I wasn't to express because they understood I was in a spa, but it was like a toning, and I could hear the toning in my being, and they just wanted me to hold his head. And then I saw him with my eyes, like this whole sacred geometric pattern like open up in his crown, and I saw how it was like shifting, almost like the energetic structure of this person. And we finished the massage, and I remember sitting him down and giving him his aftercare, and he was like, you do way more than massage. Who are you?
That's like, right.
Yeah, I guess just like energy comes through me sometimes. And he was like, thank you so much. And this kept happening.
Wow.
This kept happening in the spa. And it got so ridiculous, Han, that I would just touch a person and I would get a complete download, who they are, what they're here to do, what's in their way, even if there's any relatives that have messages for them or any of their guides. It was just like all of it, the whole shebang. As soon as I touched someone, and it got quite intense for me in massage, and until the end, my guide said, okay, you need to quit your job, sell everything that you own, and we'll tell you what to do next. I was like, oh, am I not? Because I was working in Canada at the time, and I was so sure like that's where I was going to be. And they showed me my wings, and they said, your wings are clipped right now. You need to expand. You can't expand here. You've done your work. I was like, oh, okay. So anyway, fast forward, I was traveling through Central America, and in meditation, my guide said, okay, you're ready to receive the sounds. And previous to that, I'd already had many experiences where I'd been downloaded specific symbols, like DNA symbols, and I have some of them tattooed on my body. And my guide said, you will have 6 downloaded to start. We're not giving you too many because it will fry your brain cells. The frequency is quite high for you. But over the years, you're going to receive all of the codes, all of the downloads, all of the attunements, the DNA attunements. And so that was kind of already happening. And then in a meditation practice, my guide said, okay, we need you to tone and let the energy of the toning go through your being. And so I was doing all this practice at home, on my travels. And then they shared, you're going to teach this to the masses. You're going to bring this to humanity. And at the time, I mean, I honestly thought I was going to set up a business and teach about intuition. Like I was like really, like I don't know what I was doing. And then I was with a group of people online. I think there was about 4 of us. And I said, hey, I have this thing that I want to share. Like, would you be open to receiving? And they said, sure. And so I did it. I did the practice, and a meditation, a guided meditation came through me. And then the attunements came through. And I asked what their experiences were. And they were just kind of like, whoa, like, whoa. I was like, what happened? Like, are you okay? And they said, no, we could really feel the energy. And so it just kind of started from there, to be honest with you. And then that kind of evolved into creatively. I was like, oh, okay, I'm actually meant to do this in group sessions and things. And so since then, I've run multiple group coaching programs and one-on-one sessions where there's specific tones that come through. Now, the beautiful thing is that every sound is different. And I don't know if I can do it without me tuning into the energy, but it sometimes kind of sounds a bit like or sort of like sounds like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then sometimes really deep, almost like ancient shamanic women will sing through me.
Oh, wow.
Like when that first started happening, it was after I'd gone to Peru. So there was a part of me that had to go to Peru to remember some part of me from being there, I guess.
Yeah.
And I was just at home one day and in meditation, and I felt all these like old, almost like Bedouin elder women. They came and were like punching and pulling my stomach. And then all these kind of like sounds and singing started coming through. And I don't sing. I'm no singer. It's not like an angelic voice. Let's put it that way. But it's like it's a specific. They're almost like these songs of the earth. These ancient songs. Mm-hmm. And so those come through sometimes, or a transmission of light language as well. So more speaking. It varies. Honestly, it varies.
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing. Have you figured out, have you remembered your connection with the sacred land that you're on at the moment then? Because you've obviously got some connections. You mentioned Peru there as well. You're in Costa Rica at the moment.
Oh, yeah. This is my space. Yeah. Anywhere from the top of Canada all the way right down through to South America to the point. I've not gone to South America yet. But most of the grid work that I've been doing with the crystalline grid has been all on this line, all through Mount Shasta, California, Hawaii, Mexico, Central America, down into Costa Rica, Peru. Costa Rica, incidentally, this is where I spent most of my time about 3 or 4 years ago. In the last 4 years, I always knew that I was meant to permanently reside somewhere tropical, but I never knew where it was. Little did I know that I was being prepared to be here. I didn't even know until I got here this time round. It's like, oh, this is it. So between here and Glastonbury, there's a connection between this part of the earth and when I go back to Glastonbury because of my connection there. So I'll always reside around these 2 places for the minute.
Very cool. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, when we get these real like heart connections with these different lands. And often when we initially go there, we don't know why we love these places so much, but it's just this kind of like this connection. So yeah. I love that. I feel connected to Guatemala, definitely. I know that, that's part of my history, my heritage, and walking around those ancient ruins there, and it was just like, I felt a real connection. So yeah, it's really lovely remembering ourselves in this way. See, somebody here is saying, yes, our heart holds the key to where the soul should be heading fearlessly. I would love to see, the comments. Unfortunately, there is still this glitch on this platform that Zoe and I are speaking from, where we can't see your names, but we will go in afterwards and have a look at your comments. So apologies that I can't read out your name, but if you do have any questions, any comments, then feel free to write them below. So we've spoken a little bit about, and I loved it that you gave us that great intro into 2020 and like helping people to get set up for what they might expect energy wise in 2020. But you know, there are some key dates, aren't there, coming up like beyond 2020 that many people have been speaking about for a long time. So sort of 2025, 2026, like people talking about this is when this like mutation is going to be happening of the DNA, this kind of upgrading of humanity's blueprint, which I'm very excited to see what occurs there. Like what has been in your consciousness, what's in your awareness, or what information have you received about this next decade that you might be able to share with the viewers? Some heads up on what we might expect.
So this is where it comes into multidimensionality, because dependent on the frequency that you're currently carrying, you could have a completely different experience to someone else. And so if you do the work, if you do the inner work, if you set time aside every day to raise your frequency, to connect to source, to open your heart, you will experience the highest timeline that is envisioned for humanity. If you don't, then you will continue to struggle. You will continue to stay in the old paradigm of fear and scarcity. And so some may still experience a lot of releasing, a lot of energy coming up. Relationships may end, new relationships may form, jobs may transcend, jobs may come in. So on a personal, practical level, there is a continuation of clearing, but the clearing, even though it will be pretty, when you look at what you're clearing, it's like, wow, how am I clearing this much stuff? But you'll be in such joy for it, because you'll know that it's an alignment. It's like, oh, this is perfect. This is everything that's in my way of experiencing these high timelines. Collectively, globally, yes, there is going to be some pretty big shifts in terms of the separated consciousness that countries have wanted to hold on to for so long. And I don't like to hold on to dates and times, because I experience reality out of time. And so sometimes I'm experiencing a higher timeline and it's not yet manifested into the physical form. And so, but what I have been shown, I've been shown many, many visions of a centralized intelligence, where certain beings of the earth, especially beings that have mass influence, are also start to wake up to their consciousness. And it's those that we want to meditate on to wake up, because if we can get those guys to wake up, then they're going to really make some shifts around the world. And so I'm shown that there's a central intelligence where there is finally an understanding of a peaceful resolution that everybody needs to be set up for success, because they realize that actually keeping some people separate to success is actually worse for the economy, it's worse for the production, it's worse for building bridges and things. And so I'm shown that there's a centralized intelligence that every single human, if born, has to have access to clean running water, has to have access to a toilet, has to have access to clothes, has to have access to education. And if people can't afford it, then it is free. And so when I feel into the next 10, 20 years, I see a huge global support and impact in that.
That would be amazing. Yeah.
there is a shift in the way that governmental systems are voted in, because there is so much information around the intelligence of data that's being gathered when it comes to social media platforms. A lot of the questioning of, is there a true democracy anymore? Because there is so much information on people that they can be heavily influenced by specific algorithms. So there's a different way of voting that has come into play, because it's just, there is no democracy. There is no democracy with the way that intelligence on people is used. And so that comes out into, I mean, that's already out there. If you want to know more information around how that's used, you can search that. But that is, humanity has awoken up to that as well. And so, yeah, there are some huge shifts, but don't wait for this. Be where you are now. Be where you are now, and don't get into, I mean, I'm talking this to everyone, is let yourself be as present as you can. Let yourself be as present with where you are in this moment with 2019. How can you be the best version of yourself right here in this moment? Yeah. How can you be the best version every single day? And so it can be easy to want to future project. And ladies, if you've met a partner and you've been waiting for your divine partner, we've all done it. We meet the partner and we're like, oh, this is it. And it's not. A month later, it's like, as quick as it comes in, it comes out again. And we're like, what happened there? So it can be easy to have a tendency to future project too much. Like, oh, I just can't wait for humanity to sort itself out and then we can live in love bliss. Or I can't wait for, you know, money to no longer be a thing and then we'll be fine. I can't wait for this. I can't wait for that. You can be that now. How can you experience and be the light, love, light frequency this day, this timeline? And so when I feel into timelines, I'm only showing 2020, right? I was showing 2020 a year ago. My ego was like, 2019 is going to be awesome, because that's what I thought 2020 was. Halfway into 2019, I'm like, excuse me, I didn't order this. Like, what's happening? This is what's, I'm like, oh, this is the foundation we're building. We're building new structures because we're building new ways in how we think, how consciousness is thinking.
A lot of heck yes coming in on the comments, right? Other people really enjoying that as well. So you have a beautiful gift that you are sharing with the viewers today, and also for people watching this back on replay. Thank you so much for this. So I've been checking out, as I said to you before, do click on the link and go and check out the landing page that Zoe's prepared. It's absolutely gorgeous. The energy is amazing. So it's the access to your Golden Heart Ceremony program, which is a 90-minute activation to open, expand your heart. Normally, I think it's priced at, I think it was 44, but you are £44, but you are gifting it to this community for free, which is beautiful. Thank you so much. You will need to use the coupon code Ariella free. We will put this in Facebook, and we'll also send it out on email as well. Can you just talk us through this, Zoe?
Yeah, the Golden Heart Ceremony was a live recorded transmission that I ran for a group. The original investment of that was around $97. And so, yeah, it's a 90-minute transmission designed to bring through an attunement to really open up your heart to the golden Christ consciousness. And so it's a really beautiful ceremony that you can listen to when you're feeling disconnected, when you're feeling that you need to raise your frequency, when you're feeling you just need to kind of come inwards, when you need to go and come into stillness. And then I think there's some additional information as part of that course as well. So yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. It's beautiful. I love gifting this one.
It sounds amazing, and it looks amazing just from the energy. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you for gifting this community with that. I really appreciate it. And thank you for everything that you've shared today. And it's been lovely to get to know you, to connect with you, to have your energy and presence on this show. So thank you, Zoe.
You're welcome. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Lots of people saying thank you. And somebody's saying, amazing, so angelic sounding. So I don't know whether they're already on your free gift or whether it's your beautiful tones. So yeah, people saying thank you for sharing. So excited. Amazing. Thank you, Zoe. It's just been an honor to have you on the show. So thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who was tuned in today. I will be back with you. I'm actually going to be back with you now. It won't be next Thursday. It'll be the following Thursday. So Thursday, the 5th of December at 4 p.m. for another episode of Ascension Talk with Ariella. And just thank you for everybody's presence, or perhaps it's the one presence. Thank you.
Thank you.